Yo, 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 what is up, everyone? It is I, Corey, the showstopper, Jaganada, the Heartbreak Kid. Sorry, I've been watching Shawn Michaels, highlights in the last couple days. Jaganator Marco with Season 5, Episode 11 of the Dodcast. We've got some shit to talk about. We got to recap Silver's final week on Hallie. We won't spend as much time on that, I think, because we got a lot of playoffs to get into. We got to recap the Gold week one of playoffs, quarterfinals. There was, I'd say, the best of three I've ever seen in DOD got played. Obviously, it's unfortunate there's been a lot of like negative stuff now being discussed within the community because of some things that happened in regards to that. I understand both sides of it, right? It's unfortunate all around. But man, that was an absolutely fucking unreal series. And hopefully that doesn't get lost in the shuffle and all that because, like, props to those 12 guys. I could not have kept it together for those three games after the way the first two games went. And then, yeah, we got to predict the semifinals for gold. And there's basically a lot to be done here. There's a lot to be done. And when it comes to silver on Hallie in week 9, there wasn't a whole lot of drama. Like, there was opportunities for some things to move around a little bit for the most part. The way things were before the last Dodcast episode is the way things are now in silver. So there's not a whole lot to like really break down there, and everybody's got playoffs coming up. Everybody's got a lot of playoffs to be played in silver. You know, best of threes for all, and to all a good night. So we will get into that. I did upload, I'm sure many of you will remember it, but it was sort of like the prototype of what the Dodcast went on to become. I called it the Lost Dodcast episode. At the time, I was calling it the KTP League Rundown, which I did just, I guess, so I actually wouldn't have guessed that this was the case, but apparently I just did that one for week 1 of the first season of KTP. And then after that, I didn't do it again until I changed the name to the Dodcast, brought in Tony Compton as my broadcast partner, so to speak, and then season 2, week 1, was the next time I did anything like this. So it was kind of interesting just seeing the very minimal way this evolved from that point. I mean, it is pretty much the exact same thing. It was just a little more scripted at the time. And this week, there ain't no script. Last week, I did write up a little script when I was doing the gold playoff predictions. I didn't write no script this time, baby. We fucking flying off the cuff. Let's go. Alright, so let's get into this shit. Okay, where are we here? Where are we here? Looks like right about here, is it? That looks like Hallie to me. Right? No, that's definitely no, that's Harrington. That's Lennon. Okay, yeah, so right here. Right off the bat, let's go. Saab versus Loswick. Saab wins 464 to 78. Right off the bat, too, I only got to cast, well, I got to cast 2 different halves of 2 different silver matches on Hallie, and then one most of the match, the 3H versus Spicy game. So I did get to see like a good chunk of it, and then I got to cast the entire best of 3 between Over and Greyhair Mafia, which again I can't stress enough how much, if you're a DoD player of any level, you should go watch that game because it was really fucking insane. Or if you're just a fan of DoD, I'm sure there's a lot of those out there that aren't also actively playing in the league. Funny. All right, so 464 to 78. Saab took this one to finish off their strong season here. Holy shit, I didn't even look at these screenshots before, but got some fun stuff here. Right. So, first half, speculatory. First half, 246 to 47. About a 199 point win here for Saab on their allied side. Kills 169 to 131. On the Loswick side, we do have a ringer there, LZL. I recall him coming into my Twitch chat and saying that Saab had just shit on him, which had me confused because I was like, wait, was Saab playing Romario this week? I swear they weren't. Like, what? And Saab beat Romario? Like, that's a big story. You know, Romario had only lost to Goose, so I was very confused, but it was just LZL ringing for Loswick here. He had 41 kills with the car. The guy's insane. I'm assuming he had a car here, but, you know, but he had 41 kills. Like, he does that with a car a lot, so that would track. 23 on Manga, 20 on Jiraiya, 16 on Leto, 23 on... Wait, I already said 23 on Manga. 19 on Anik, and then 12 on AZ. And on the Saab side, I mean, this time he seemingly didn't come up short. We'll have to see what happened in the other half, but 50 and 15 for Nightmare on the bar. I'm assuming he car barred here. 36 on Manor on that other bar. That is a lot to overcome on that mountain route on Halley when you have 86 being put up by the two heavies. What are you going to do against that? I'm guessing that LZL going bridge is the only reason that this score on this half wasn't even a little bit more, right? Because it's a lot of fucking kills out of the heavies there. 28 for Baron. Good to see him get in the lineup again. Every time he plays for them, he's so impactful. And then 20 for Caleb, 18 for Kingyo, and 17 for Toki. There's nothing left for Toki to do, right? And here's the thing. Halley is a sniper map, but or at least it was for a long time. Honestly, I think when you're playing against good players, it's just so tough to get going as a sniper because good players are going to be spamming the shit out of your lofts and everything. You can't get out of the lofts because then you're just getting naded. It's really tough. Like even though it's meant to be a sniper map with the lofts overlooking a big bridge cap, long range, and everything, just doesn't feel like it plays that way all that often anymore. It certainly can, and I've seen it. Like against Typical in Season 2, where Nightmare, I forget how many kills he ended up having on Axis side, but I think he was like 30 and 10 or something, or 36 and 10 against us. It can happen, but it's generally not happening in a way that's like extra, like I'm just sitting here and they can't kill me. Like if you're just sitting there and trying to snipe over the bridge, you will die over and over again. It's impossible. Oh, he did come up just a little short of that 100, but Nightmare did get to 90. So 218 to 31 Saab this half. 40 kill differential there in their favor. 25 for AZ, 23 for LZL, 22 for Manga, 21 for Jiraiya, 14 for Onyx, and 11 for Leto. And then on the Saab side, 40 for Nightmare there, 90 kills overall, and I believe 30 deaths. Let me just double check that. Yeah, 30 deaths. This guy had a 3-to-1 KD ratio. I mean, I always say if you're going to car bar, you need to get at least 70 kills, and you need to have a 2-to-1 KD ratio to feel like you really made the most of the car bar. Nightmare just took that and one-upped it. Said, I got 90 kills and a 3-to-1 KD ratio. That's just absurd. So yeah, 40 and 15 for Nightmare. Finishing it off with a bang. 29 for Manor. Again, second top frag there. Really good work by Nightmare and Manor as a duo, although this time, obviously, Nightmare's not heavying. Regardless, 28 and 13 for Toki. There's a strong sniper half. And then 20 apiece for both Baron and Caleb, and 19 for Kingyo just behind them. Almost had 3 guys with 20. A big win for Saab just to finish off what was already a strong season. For Los Wick now, it gets into the part where they're in the Silver B bracket, right? Let me check and see exactly how that played out real quick. Where is the little thing? There it is. There it is. All right. So for the Silver B playoffs, Los Wick will get to play HRG on one side of the bracket, and Later Rivals versus M1 on the other side of the bracket. And we've seen this before. I mean, I've compared them to the Sleepers Romario gang, right? If they keep up that comparison, then they're going to go win this thing, right? It's entirely possible. I think that bracket is completely wide open. Anybody could win it with the way all 4 teams have continued to progress and improve and perform. Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing how the Silver B playoffs play out. Generally, they're very exciting, too, with the best of 3s and everything. So I think that's going to be a fun one. Getting on to the next game here. So 2 of those participants right here, 270 to 153, Later Rivals over HRG. We got to see a Later Rivals team here with Casino back in the lineup, which I didn't know for a long time was going to be possible or not. But you can see there, getting that big difference-making X-Factor rifle is very, very helpful, especially paired with Secretly. And if you can get Lou in there as well, man, like, you know, pair those guys up with any other players on Later Rivals. Nightmares is always good. Bo has been playing forever. He's a very good, experienced heavy. You know, if Bullet's in there, Insight has looked very good when he plays mechanically. Azil on the Sniper has been consistent this season. Later Rivals is going to be a lot to contend with, I think, in that Silver B side of things. Especially if Casino is going to continue to play, which I assume he will. We'll see, though. I've been wrong many times before. So 106 to 81 here in the first half. I caught the second half of the second half of this game. So it was 17 kill differential there in favor of late arrivals. On the HRG side, 39 for Nitrox. He was getting to snipe, which is something that I've played against him doing in the past. He is good at it. And as you can see there, 39 kills on Axis. He had 16 more kills than the next top fragger. Like, that is very impressive no matter what the situation. Mike Gandhi at 23. G with 22. Nick, 21. And then 16 apiece for Faraday and ARG, or ARG. I continuously have called him ARG, but I think I can just say ARG from what I understand. And then on the late arrival side, 30 for Nightmares there. He's usually right up there with the top performers for these guys. He's on the bar. 27 for his heavy partner there, Bo on the bar. Nice, solid, heavy performance. Also 27 for Casino. I believe he will end up top fragging. Don't quote me on that, though. And then 25 for Azilla on the sniper, 23 for Secretly, and 22 for Bullet. And then this is the half that I was able to see at least a good chunk of. 164 to 72 for late arrivals. 21 kill lead in the kill total as well. It looks like Bullet went out and Epion came in there. So on the HRG side, 33 for Head Like a Hole in the Bar. Really nice half for Nick there. 27 for G, his heavy partner. 27 for Nitrox. Again, he had to have top fragged on the HRG side with, well, what did he have first half? 39? Yeah, so a 66 kill performance there. Just taking me saying how hard it is to snipe on Hallie and shoving it up my little ass. 23 for Mike on the Garand. 14 for Faraday and 13 for ARG. And then on the late arrival side, Secretly with 34. The guy is just a freak of nature, man. He is a stud. And I look forward to getting to see him play potentially as many as, like 6 extra maps this season now, which is sick. And then his rifle partner, back, Casino Royale. 32 kills on the car, 66 between the two of them. A lot to overcome when the cars are putting up that performance on this map. 29 for Nightmares as well. So I believe he might have top frag. No, they tied. Right? 30, 27... 32, 29. And yeah. So they both had 59, Secretly at 57. Very close battle for the top fraggers there. And then Epion with 25, 21 for Bo, and 17 for Azilla. Not a lot left to be done at that point when your teammates are putting up those scores all around there. A big win to finish off the season for late arrivals. I know how much of a dynamic thing Casino being there can do for late arrivals roster, and then if you can add in Louis as well, although I don't know who comes out for Louis there, so that's kind of, I guess, the question mark in that case. But yeah, late arrivals, finishing it with a bang as well, getting ready to go into the Silver B playoffs and face against M1. And yeah, man, like I said, I'm very, very intrigued by the entirety of that bracket. I have no idea what to expect. Like, I can't look at these games and be like, well, that team's going to win probably, you know? Like, I think they're very evenly matched here across the board, and that it's anybody's game in the Silver B portion of the season's playoffs. All right. Next up, Romario versus M1, 613 to 68. Romario finishes off the season with one loss, which was just to Goose. I mean, obviously, we know how ridiculous this team is. I think it's very, the storyline is Goose, right? But I think that getting lost in that is just how insanely good Romario has been as well. And to me, it's like just as likely that Romario could come through that Silver A bracket and win it all, honestly. It just depends on who they've got there, right? They have their strong 6. They could hypothetically, you got Vanicky who can pop up and play every once in a while and do this. Like, they just have so many good players. They play so well together. They have a nice big map pool as well. They're just going to have to overcome Papa PDX when all is said and done, right? That's the question mark. But here we go in the first half. And you actually need to zoom in a little bit to see. Is that a 343 or a 243? I'm guessing it's 343. 343 to 20. 190 to 126 for the kill totals there. In favor of Romario. On the M1 side, Pizza Hut with 30. He had a nice finish to the season, getting to cast the previous game too. Looked really good on the rifles there. He had 30 in this game. Alapex with 26, a nice half there on Axis. Red Dog with 24. Quarter with 17. Meep with 17. And iJab with 12. And then on the Romario side, 44 for Rafinha on the Grand. 39 for LZL. Almost had his second 40 half of the day there. 32 for Vanaki, who is in barring no Bud this week. 31 apiece there for Matt and Mand. I'm going to have to check the stats, but it's possible that Mand finished off the season as the top KD ratio in silver. Don't quote me on that, because Stamp had a really, really good KD as well. Just, from weeks, well, the last time I checked it. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how that played out. And then 13 for BLK. There was 190 kills here, so, even if, to me, there's only probably like another 8 kills for him to get, right? It's just one of those things. Just sometimes there's only so many kills to get, especially on a map like that, where it can be a little bit of a range from spawn out to the action. And then, in the second half, 270 to 48 there for Romario. Kills were 132 to 108. It looks like maybe there were some lag outs, because LZL is 0-0, so I'm not sure what his score would have been for that. Someone will have to let me know if they know at all, but yeah, it looks like one of those things where somebody lagged out at some point during the game. But on the M1 side, again, 25 for Pizza, a nice 55 kill game there. Red Dog with another good half of 24, 19 for Quarter, 17 for iJab, 13 for Alapex, and 10 for Meep. And then on the Romario side, 30 for Matt, 30 and 19. Nice little STG half there. 29 for the other STG, Vanaki. 27 and 12 for Man, which I feel like is his most common score. Like, I feel like I've seen him get 27 and 12 over and over again. It's so impressive. And then 23 apiece for BLK and Rafinha. And then LZL, not sure. I'm sure he did well. He always does well. The guy's a machine. But yes, one more win to finish off the season. Nice and strong for Romario for M1 in the Silver B bracket. Again, I mean, I've said this now 3 maps in a row, or 2 or whatever, but to me, that side of the bracket is so totally up for grabs. I have no doubt M1 is going to give teams fits there. If Moosh will be there as well, especially, like, that just gives them another level up. He can really just fuck shit up all over the place as a sniper, as a rifle. I've even seen him heavy before and be able to do it. It's one of those things where he is the best player on the team, and if you have him in that lineup, it just brings everything else up. It's like Toxinator for us. It's like Vertex was for Icy Hot, PDX was for T3. It's like those guys who are the game-breaking players on your roster. When you got him, it brings everyone else's level up even more, too. So, we'll see. Hopefully he can play. He hasn't played the last couple of games, at least I know. So, we will see what happens in the playoffs now. And where are we here? Two more to go. I got to cast the second half of this Goose game. Goose Patrol, finishing off the undefeated season there officially. Only the 3rd undefeated regular season in KTP history the 4th. The 4th undefeated regular season. NSA also had an undefeated regular season. They went wire to wire undefeated through the playoffs. Clinic in Season 1 also went wire to wire undefeated through the playoffs for a championship. And then in Season 3, Clinic and Silver went undefeated in the regular season but lost in the semis. We'll see what Goose Patrol can do with this undefeated regular season. But this game, they won 384 to 132 over No-Go. So, first half, 167 to 45 for Goose. A 45 kill lead on the kill totals there for No-Go. Stark with 25, Deedro and War Within with 22. 19 for Hey Hi, good to see him getting into play. Trance with 18 and 15 for Matthew. And then on the No Goose, the Goose Patrol side, I remember that those names were fucking me up during the cast all over the place. Bobby with 34 on the Garand. We talk about it many times, how good Bobby's Garand is. 30 there for Hopper. I was like, what? Wait. Hopper had 30. 29 for Asani. And we'll see what his score was in the second half. 27 for Bromley. And then 24 for Crod and 22 for Nicholson. And yeah, just a pretty pretty elementary half there. Solid 122-point lead. That's, 3 cap-outs. Feeling pretty good about it. Heading into their Axis side, 217 to 187. 130-point lead there. 163 to 133 in the kills. And in this half, Hopper, I think, lagged out. So PDX came in for like 8 minutes or 10 minutes or something. But on the no-go side, 34 for Stark. Really nice bar half there. He's always having good halves with both guns. We've seen him put up some really big kill totals. Very, very capable of going off. 26 for Hey Hi. 25 for War Within, 19 for Dedro, 15 for Matthew, and 14 for Trance, which this just reminded me, by the way, if you got clips, submit them to War Within, because obviously this week's Frag of the Week already has been delayed or canceled, or I don't know if he's going to like put some stuff in the next one or what. I submitted some clips. I think I, at that point, was the first person to submit clips, so I don't know if people just kind of forgot, or if they just didn't get as many movie clips, or if they're hoping for their own movie or whatever, but please submit to War Within. Don't stop now, guys. He's done it for us all season. And, you know, I mean, I guess on one side, he does get a week off now, which I'm sure is nice. I can tell you it is nice. I don't even need to say I'm sure it is. It's a lot of work, but don't forget to submit to the Frag of the Week, man. All right, so for Goose Patrol, as I said, more on Asani to come. 48 and 26 with that fucking car. What a beast, man. This guy is just unreal. As I understand, his first season of competitive DOD 1.3 and has been a god, you know? Really, really impressive stuff watching him play. This is really, I think, the first time I got to actually watch him play in a match for any extensive period of time, and he looked crazy. Next up was Krod with 27 kills there. Just another really nice heavy game for him. I'm sure his stats look great for the season on the heavy. 26 for Bromley on the Stas. 23 for Bobby on the car. 20 for PDX. 20 and 16 in those 8 minutes or so. And then 19 for Nicholson on the sniper. And Goose has done it, right? Goose finishing off the undefeated season. Only the fourth time it's been done. I almost fucked that up again. I think I said third time during the cast because I forgot about last season NSA doing it wire to wire. Unless I'm forgetting something entirely, but I don't think I am. I think that's right. 4 undefeated seasons throughout KTP now. Was there maybe a random 5th one? I don't think so. Was there an undefeated team in a bronze season maybe? I can to go through and look. It would take a lot of time. I'm not gonna just sit here. I'll check later, and then I can correct myself at a later date. But round of applause for Goose Patrol. There, it is not easy to do. It is shark-infested waters in Silver, season in and season out. We've seen it time and time again. Just how random things can go in Silver. Like you might think you know what's gonna happen. It ain't happening that way, Jack. So. Very impressive stuff from Goose Patrol. Obviously the favorite heading into the playoffs, because why wouldn't they be? They haven't lost yet. But yeah, again, that silver bracket, it is wide open every single season. Things happen that are crazy, and I suspect it will be no different in Season 5. And then the big finale here, this was one of the other games where potential movement could happen. This was also a pretty fun game to watch. There was a lot of exciting exchanges, clutches, movie clips across the board. Spicy against 3H, a rematch of last season's finals in Silver, 270 to 1 to 171. The first step of vengeance here for Spicy against 3H, but they're going to have to do more because they are playing each other in round 1 of the playoffs. So that's why I say first step of vengeance, because obviously winning a regular season game, I'm sure they don't really give that much of a shit about. It's about what's to come next. An actual playoff series, try to put them in the rearview mirror on their quest to go forth and win that championship that they've come so close to winning 3 times in a row now, right? They are effectively the uncrowned kings at this point of Silver, and I suspect that they are as driven or more so than ever to try to go get that ring this season. And, you know, to me, they got to be right there with Goose. Like, Goose may be undefeated, but Spicy has proven that in the playoffs, they know how to get shit done. And that's not something that just goes away. Like, this is the same team their biggest strength is their teamwork, and that's the most important thing when it comes to these close series, best of threes. So much shit can go wrong, so much shit can go right, and with a team like Spicy, you just gotta favor them in these scenarios most of the time, right? So 271 to 171 over 3H. Let's take a look at the scores. So this is first half, Allied side for Spicy. This thing was real back and forth too. Like 3H gave up a couple caps, and then Spicy was constantly getting insane clutch kills at their last flag. Laura did it multiple times. Twist did it multiple times. It was like everybody at one point or another on Spicy's side had some kind of crazy clutch kill or multi-kill. 3H just wouldn't stop pressing forward. They really got so close to making this thing into like a one-cap game heading into the second half, be right there within reach, and they didn't stop either. Like in the second half too, they got this close to capping out multiple times, but that teamwork, the good communication, the good rotations, the good understanding of what their teammates are doing really fucking pays off here for Spicy, because a lot of teams would have given up those caps. Not because they're necessarily worse or anything like that individually. It's because the calls would be messy or not very succinct, right? They'd be spending too much time delayed making the call or describing the call or whatever. For Spicy playing together this long, boom, it's done. They're coming this way. I'm ready for it. You're ready for it. I came back to back you up. I didn't just push forward to go try to grab an extra kill or, see if I could maybe sneak out a flag. Like, it's just good decision making as a unit out of Spicy. And it paid off with the win here because, like, really, 3H was battling back hard. I really thought that 3H was going to make this thing into like a single-digit game when all was said and done, or find a way to win because of how often they were getting teamed down, basically 5 out of 6, and it would be left on somebody's one individual pair of shoulders, and they would have to get either like 1 kill or 2 kills, I know one time Twist had like a multi-STG headshot on 2 or 3 guys prone diving for the last flag. Just endless moments where it looked like 3H was going to break through, but Spicy fucking slammed the door in their faces. So, 30 kill deficit for 3H on this side, 165 to 135. They lost the half by 95. On the 3H side, Illusion, again, continuing to have a strong season here with 3H. 33 on him, 24 for Johnny, 21 for Ian, 20 for Modgers, 19 for Piff, and 18 for Defrag. And on the Spicy side, just such a team effort. You had 31 on Luke, but then after that, 27, 27, 27 for Twist, Kevin, and Matt, respectively. 29 on Stamp, 29 and 18, again, having just a great KD ratio sniping. And then Laura with 24, and I swear to God, like 18 of those kills were like the most important kills of the half. Just consistently being there at last flags or getting the kill on somebody trying to break a double cap or whatever, defending choke points that would have led out to a cap out. Like, it just seemed like every time she was getting multiple kills, it was in a do or die situation in that half. It was bonkers. Like, I was sweating and nervous watching them going through these situations where I was like, I don't think I was hitting these shots. It's just so nerve-wracking in those situations. You can very, very easily, just a little different on the mouse, it just twitches a little bit, or your hand slips off a little bit. So easy for things to go wrong in those scenarios. But as you can see there in the second half, 3H did win by 5 points. Problem was they needed to win by 95 points, right? So ends up being like 2 caps that they had to pull off. And they were that close on multiple occasions in this half. They did a really good job, too, of formulating a game plan to come back on the fly. I saw multiple good ninja attempts where things just didn't quite play out the way that they needed it to. It was one of those things where I know I saw one ninja cap where it was like all they needed to do was just keep them off the double caps. Well, there's only one double cap, but also the heavy route extended cap, right? And it was like so close, and then all the team went down, and they lost both flags. There's nothing to be done. I think it was Defrag who ended up ninja'd for, it had to have been like 2 minutes, and then had to or maybe it was Piff, or Matt, I don't know, somebody on the heavy route side who got ninja'd for just forever. They also didn't make the mistake of just like running out at the last flag, thinking like, "Hey, can you get this flag? I'm going to get this one." It seemed like they were doing a good job of staying coordinated in their efforts to try to get those cap outs, which is encouraging to see out of 3H heading into the playoffs. But on the 3H side of things, 32 for Piff there. Just so strong, such a strong heavy. Piff and Matt together, as I've talked about many times, such a good heavy team. Matt had 27 as well. Actually, we had three 27s in this half now for 3H. 27 for Illusion, 27 for Matt, and 27 for Ian. Ian had a really, really fucked up movie clip where he's just like running from Allied side of bridge to Axis side of bridge, killing like 6 people. 25 on Defrag and 17 for Johnny. And then on the Spicy side, another very evenly distributed team effort here. 33 for Luke, 33 for Matt, the dynamic rifle duo of Die Life and Dillard. Cash in again with a 66 kill performance there on the cars. And then we had 29 on Kevin and Stamp on each other's original classes, right? That's the other thing with Spicy. Their teamwork and their overall unit is so strong that they were able to switch classes between the heavy and the sniper and not lose a fucking step. Like, it's very impressive. And then 22 on Ryan, who again, Ryan and Laura in this half, the kills that they got on the guys trying to cap out were unreal. I couldn't believe it. There was a couple situations where I'm pretty sure in the cast I said, like, there's no way they can get these kills now. That's got to be a cap for 3H. And then dink, 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 just like headshot after headshot between the two of them. They did a really good job of not just saying, all right, we can go off the last flag, abandoning it, thinking you had cleared off enough space to be able to take map control. They stuck around. They minded their P's and Q's when it came to ninja capping, and it paid off in the end because this was no easy win right here. Like, this was a fucking heavyweight fight between two studly teams. Obviously 3H, the champion last season, trying to be the only team who gets to do a repeat due to their roster, overhaul and everything. Well, not overhaul, but their roster turnover. And they seem to be starting to find their footing now, finally heading into the playoffs. Obviously, with Matt being around more often, would certainly help a lot with that. Just having a consistent 6 is the biggest thing for 3H. But Spicy does it, man. Spicy puts down the ghost of season past here, and the regular season at least. And now, spoiler alert, they're playing each other in the first round of the playoffs too. So Spicy are going to have to get through that championship loss from last season, avenge it, do so with authority, just really sticking it to them to try to move forward and go get that championship that, they got to feel is rightfully theirs after they're in the finals three straight seasons, It's just one of those things where you start to just feel like this is it now. Like, we came so close multiple times. This is the season where we're getting it fucking done. I don't care what happens. We're doing it. I've been there losing championships in a row, and when it gets to that next one, it's just like, all right, now we know what to expect, and we're going to make this thing fucking count now. We're getting it done. And it feels to me like Spicy are going to get it done this season. Even with Goose as the undefeated favorites, it just feels like Spicy will find a way once they get to that point. But it's no easy road, obviously. There are a lot of mines out in that field waiting for each and every one of these teams in silver, and nobody will have an easy road to winning that ring. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to look at the standings one last time here, even though it's not up on the screen for you guys. Let me see if I can just switch it over so I don't have to just do a lot of describing since my voice is apparently already shot. There we go. So, that's gold. Oh, wait, over here. So, silver, as I said, 9-0 for Goose, a 2,595 point differential there. Romario, 8-1. Their only loss was to Goose Patrol, about a 1,700 point differential. Spicy at number 3. Maybe that's the number of fortune for them here. 3 straight championships, 3rd seed. You don't see the 1st seed go and win the championship all that often. I think if you checked overall across the 5 seasons and multiple divisions, the 1st seed probably doesn't win the championship all that often. Just off the top of my head. I haven't looked into this specifically, I know Clinic did it once, and I think we did it once, and NSA did it once. So it's one of those things. It's kind of like I know in hockey that's a thing where the President's Trophy winner is kind of cursed. The team that had the best regular season almost never goes on to win the Stanley Cup. The reason for that is because all the other teams that have to scratch through and claw to get into the playoffs to begin with, they're used to having ups and downs and dealing with adversity and knowing what they have to do in these close games and when they're really fighting for wins, tough losses, how to come back from them, how to deal with things going wrong. And I think that that's really realistically stretches to any competitive thing that you're doing, right? If you have it too easy where it was a cakewalk through the regular season portion of anything, and then you get to the playoff section, it's about to be real tough, right? Like, there's going to be shit that will go wrong, and you've got to have the steady hands to be able to go, like, that's fine. Don't freak out. We're good. And then carry on with your business and make it happen. Make a comeback happen. Hold on to a lead that's dwindling. Things of that nature, right? So I think that is something I'd be interested in checking out, how those stats play out across KTP's 5 seasons. But I would guess just off the top of my head, more often than not, it's not the 1 seed that wins the championship. But to be fair, in the other 3 occasions where there was an undefeated team, 2 out of those 3 won the championship. Clinic season 1 and NSA in season 4. So stats on both sides of this thing. There's no way to tell for sure what it's going to mean when all is said and done. It might mean nothing. In Silver is very good at taking your predictions and your opinions about who might win and shoving them straight up your Rudy Poo candy ass. So I suspect it will not be any different this season. 3 seed for Spicy, 4 seed for Saab. Again, another team who you got to look at. They've been there before. They've been in these tight playoff series. They know how to win when goings are tough. Same for No-Go, and same for 3H. Like, all 6 of those teams on the Silver Ace side are very dangerous in a best of 3. And there's just no way anyone can look at it and go, like, I guarantee you this team will win this series against this team in Silver A. Just too many variables that can come into play and fuck shit up there. It's going to be very interesting. And then on the Silver B side, HRG, later rivals in M1, all with 2 wins, Loswick with 1. So I think that is actually how, that's actually how the rankings played out. So HRG versus Loswick 1v4, and then 2v3 later rivals versus M1. And it's the same thing here to me. Like, I don't know, if you put a gun to my head, life on the line, who do I think is going to win? I have no fucking idea. Like, if it was, I have to predict the winner of Silver B or I will die, I'm probably fucked. Like, it's a double coin flip, Well, I guess not a double coin flip because there's only 2 sides. That analogy doesn't work. But it's like if you had a cube or a square and you were flipped. No, a cube doesn't have. Just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. All right, moving on. So we got to recap this crazy gold playoff situation now, right? What do I got to switch here? Boom. All right. So obviously, first off, just because I try to never just be like not talking about things that happen in the community. We all know what went down with the over Gray Hair Mafia game. Nick, his Moss, he started it, and at some point, something fucked up, which I completely fucking believe it. Like, Moss has been a very sketchy, dicey program for a lot of people. I have no doubt that he started it and was under the impression that it was running the whole time. I have no doubt about that. Why wouldn't he, right? Like, he's already had to deal with this twice before. Nick is not an idiot. Nick is not a cheater. Like, this is just a shitty situation. I completely understand the frustration on his part with having to deal with this shit again. And I completely understand Gray Hair Mafia's side of it too, right? Like, that sucks. The way that everything played out, like, obviously with Moss stuff, you never know whether there's supposed to be an overturn or not. Like, I think the rules are a little bit like, we reserve the right to do this kind of thing. Which, hey, good on the admins, right, for thinking ahead on these things to not make it so ironclad so that they have the discretion in situations like this. But it's also tough because I think Over's having an issue getting 6 for the next round, anyways, too. So this is just like a really fucked up, impossible situation between the two teams right now. I feel for both sides of this. I really do. I've seen how fucking weird Moss can be, like when we first got it and we're fucking around with it, trying to see how it worked and like if it fucks with your computer. I've seen it start and then just crash, and it doesn't show that it's crashed until like you go to press a button in it, and then it it seizes up and it turns white and shit like that. Like there's not always going to be a way to tell that something is fucked up with it, unless you were sitting there thinking like, hey, I'm assuming there's something fucked up with this program, so I'm going to go investigate it very thoroughly in the middle of a best of 3 series that has been fucking mind-numbingly close, right? So, I don't fault Nick at all for this, and I don't fault Gray Hair Mafia for being pissed off, all things considered, right? Like, I get it. I'm sure that if the shoe was on the other foot, most teams would be in this case. But like, guys, can we all just keep it civil, right? Like this is not anybody's fault in particular. And as I said earlier, to me this was the best fucking best of 3 series that DoD has ever seen. And I don't want to see that get lost in the shuffle, because I thought this series was absolutely fantastic. I loved getting to cast it. I would love just watching it with it muted, even at this point. It was just such a well-played game by 12 players all across the board. Everybody did their job and did it well. And it's just the unfortunate nature of the fucking anti-cheat, right? Like, shit got fucked up. The rules aren't very locked down in what's supposed to happen, which I get too. Even from the admin side, I get that, because you don't want to just go like, hey, if this happens, we're fucking overturning everything and this guy's banned for life. We got like 60 people in this community at this point, right? And it's certainly one thing, like, if they checked the demos or checked previous moss and there was fucked up shit in there and like somebody was cheating, this is why it says we reserve the right to whatever the fuck, right? So on a case-by-case basis, rather than it just being like you drop a nuke on anybody who might have had just something fucked up go on with this program that we don't, it's not our program as a community, right? We don't know how this shit works, really. We're relying on somebody else's work to be our anti-cheat, and shit went wrong with it, and it has in the past. So it just sucks that both these teams are having to feel like shit after a really fucking awesome match. But like I said, I completely get it from all sides here, whether it be Gray Hair Mafia or Over or the admins. Like, it's just a shitty situation. There's no winning in this situation for anybody. And as I alluded to, it seems like Over might not even be able to field 6 for the semifinals anyways, right? They'll probably have to use ringers. Obviously not going to have Nick, and not going to have their main starting 6 even without Nick being a part of it, right? Like, it seems like they're potentially just going to have to use multiple ringers or something. So that sucks too. Because I've been singing the praises of that team all season, and in particular adding a new wrinkle that I kept wondering about all season long with Till coming back. I think he added a really, really good layer to that team that was potentially going to make them even scarier for anybody and everybody, to where you could see that team go and win a championship very easily, given a good map veto and everything. I was very interested to see what happened next with that starting lineup. They're obviously still going to be there, just a matter of who's going to play for them. It's certainly not going to be the guaranteed best 6, because you don't have Nick Patton on a sniper, and that sucks. Especially for me as a caster, because, I love the slick Nick hat-trick Patton, man. He's always giving me good moments and making me freak out on the cast. And he's just fun as a sniper to watch, a fellow sniper put in good work. So, again, I completely empathize to all sides of this. It just sucks all around. And, hopefully something can be learned from all of it for the future. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen after that, but we'll see. Let's recap the match here. It was nuts, of course. I was just talking about it. Best of 3, went all 3 maps. Here's what I can tell you, just a fun fact to start off right off the bat. After the first 2 maps, the point totals were literally tied. 282 here, right? So this is Gray Hair Mafia and 361. So 282 to 278, 4-point win for Gray Hair Mafia. This was on Over's map pick on Lennon. So Gray Hair Mafia steals Lennon in a 4-point game. It was insane. Then it goes to Harrington. This is Gray Hair Mafia's pick. They beat Bandits earlier in the season. We were talking about it in the Twitch chat. I was talking about it in the cast. Over is way fine with playing Harrington. So it was like, to me, that map steal, it wasn't that important. I just felt like all 3 maps were good maps for Over to begin with. And what happens? Over wins Harrington by 4 points. They're literally tied after 2 maps. Third map is Anzio. This one ends up being a little bit less close. 72 points, so a cap and a third or whatever. A cap, 1.25 caps. This was just crazy, man. The moments in this cast were endless. The movie clips, like I was catching on camera movie clip after movie clip. It was nuts how often I was actually witnessing the movie clips happen in first person, which it's not anything to do with me, I can assure you. It's just how well all these guys were playing. Everybody was sharp. Everybody was doing things the right way. It was a really good display of the many different layers that there are to top-tier competitive DoD and how teams can and might choose to attack any given map and route as a team and as an individual player. Man, it was just such a fun series. Let's just get into the screenshots. Map 1, Lennon, Gray Hair Mafia by 4 points, takes out Over, and this is Over's map pick. I believe this is the first. Is it? I can't really tell because the screenshots are super cropped. Okay, it looks like it is. And then that's definitely Harrington. The fuck is that? That looks like Harrington too. I think. Is it? Yeah, that's definitely Harrington because Nick has 40 there. Okay, yeah, so those are all in the correct order. All right, so first half here. We had a lot of back and forth going on in this game. It looked like Mafia was going to take full control, and then Over managed to come back in the end of the half, make it a 1-point victory for them on their Axis side of their map pick. Kills, it was a 4-kill differential in favor of Over. So on the Over side of things, 36. Saka, the MVP of the series. I'll just spoil that right off the bat. Getting Saka back in this lineup was massive for Over. I've talked about it on the Dodcast. He is just, when he's going, he is as good an explosive aggro rifle as you have in DoD, period. You're not going to see him go like 28 and 13 or something like I might do rifling. You know, have one of those games where like you're mostly holding back and playing in support of your other fraggers. Saka is going to fucking stuff it down your throat for 3 to 5 kills at a time. He might die 5 lives in a row, but then he might have 3 lives in a row where combined he ends up with like 15 kills, you know? It's just a rock'em sock'em style. It's really fun to watch, especially when he's on like he was on this day. 36 kills to start off, top fragging by 8 over the next guy, which was Till, and his first half back playing in a match immediately comes out with impact, heavying on a heavy map. His second half was even more impactful, which we'll get to. But certainly it deploying like the Till playstyle. And here's the thing. We can all talk shit about it all we want. It's effective, right? That's what matters when it comes down to it. When it's effective, there's not a lot of answers for it on a lot of maps, right? Like there's some maps where certainly if a guy is doing it, you can kind of like make your way around him. Maybe you can get nades off on him a lot of the time. On a map like Lennon, it's going to be tough to get around, right? That heavy route is very straight in a line to start. Well, I guess it's straight in a line on that side, and then on this side, it's a little bit more labyrinthy, and James is very good at understanding the tendencies of other players, what good spots are to hold, you know, like baiting flags, letting guys run by, looking for that extra kill, just getting in your head, right? And it worked a lot of the time in this series. It really did. It's very frustrating to play against, and it may not be like movie clip city when it's happening, but goddamn if it isn't effective. Reminiscent of old days of DoD, like the Habib and Chaos and Spars and guys like that. Max maybe not as much. He was more like cerebral crouch walking around rather than just like plop it on a spot, locking it down, moving to the next spot, locking it down, catching you off guard, getting behind you, and fucking shit up behind enemy lines. So maybe not Max, but certainly Habib, Chaos, Spars, like those are some of the biggest ones. But yeah, 28 for Till there, 25 for Devin, 23 for Mata, 20 for Caffrey, 21 for Nick. I skipped over him there accidentally. 21 and 19, though, good sniper half. I talk about Lennon all the time. Fuck Lennon for snipers. Both these snipers found a way to be good, though. Because, of course, they did. They're fucking insane. And on the Mafia side, so Gray Hair Mafia was also missing multiple starters here. No Pro Star, no Riv, right? Unfortunate. They were able to bring in, like, in my opinion, like maybe the best pure backup there is in gold, and Corey Price. He had instant impact across the whole series, played so well, and then Sick was ringing and did great. Great heavying. Sick top frags here with 31. You had 29 on Sean, of course. And then 25 for Pibian. He went 25 and 21 sniping. Like, I don't know how these guys have these scores sniping on this map. Maybe I need to, like, watch their demos and see how they fucking do it, because I'm just lost on fucking Lennon. It used to be my favorite map, too. Many people can probably attest to what it used to be like sniping on Lennon. I don't see that anymore, man. 23 for Jesse, 21 for Tony. Tony also had a lot of impact across this series too. And then 20 for Corey here, rifling on long. That was the first half. It was a 1-point lead for Over. So obviously, Gray Hair Mafia is going to win by single digits. 213 to 208. This thing came down to the absolute wire. Over was swarming that Axis first flag. Mafia kept coming up big when they most needed it on the defense. It was crazy to watch, man. Over was just cooking on all cylinders, pushing, throwing good nades. It was just every time that Mafia needed a couple kills, they were getting it. They were just hitting the shots when they absolutely most needed to. I think it came down to literally like with 3 seconds left, the last spawn wave had been fought off at the one. Just enough to where it was like, well, they have no time to get back. This game was not decided until that very end. I think there was like also a double cap flag that got, like one team had it, I think Over had it, and then they were about to lose it, but they kept it, and then Mafia got it, and then it got back, and then they got mid, and then they lost it. Like, it was just so back and forth here, and obviously with a 213 to 208 score, I believe that was like 3 caps apiece in this half. Just crazy. The kills, 18 kill total lead for Mafia. That's actually a product of defending the last flag, I honestly think here, where that last like 3 minutes or so of the map was just Mafia having to defend their last flag and try to at least have as many kills as Over got in those situations. It's really, really exciting fucking first map of the game. But for Over, you had 33 on James, as I said. He had even more impact this half. Just instantly getting out, getting kills in apartments, locking that shit down, frustrating people. 29 on Devin. Devin had a hell of an Allied movie clip here in Underpass with a Garand. Just kind of like, shooting through a couple people over here, over there, getting a little robbed, but then they kind of swarm him. 2 guys out blue, and a guy jumped out. Or I think a guy came out blue, a guy came Underpass, and a guy jumped out dubs. And it was just like, headshot, just so slick. Guy is insane. 26 on Saka, 23 on Caffrey, 22 on Nick, and 20 on Mata. And then on the Mafia side, Sean, of course, 38 kills. I feel like every time he cars this map, he's getting about 40 kills. He's just so good with the angles and the kill opportunities that you get as a rifle on this map. I just feel like they're very favorable to him and his mechanics. He's got such a great strafe, and his aim and his flick game in particular. Like, a lot of Lennon can come down to being able to adjust your crosshair from target to target. I'm a little bit worried that this is going to be too long. We're already at an hour right now. Fuck me, man. I might have to do a second Dodcast to go over the predictions for both rounds here. I'm thinking I might put this out, and then maybe I'm going to do another one tomorrow when I wake up. Because I really don't want this to be 3 hours long, guys. And I'm telling you, it's going to be 3 hours long. I have to predict 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 maps. Normally, just in any given week, it's there's 7 games, 8 games maybe. So like prediction wise, and not only that, the overall series, getting into like, I think I gotta just do a separate one for the predictions here, which is unfortunate. Anyways, Sean with 38, Tony with 32. He did a really good job here on this half. He started kind of doing what James was doing. Like I saw him a few times, find good spots to prone, take out a few guys at a time. He was playing, like surprise in apartments, like, oh, I'm letting you run by, now I'm getting you, baiting the flag, things like that. Very smart, heavy play by 9 there. Able to put up big, impactful numbers with 32 on the STG, 30 on fucking Pibby and sniping on Axis. Like, how? How do these guys do it? I don't understand. What a player, man. Just nuts. 27 and 25 for William on the other STG. 23 for Corey on the Stas. Had multiple multi-kills going for that last flag to cap out, which was kind of the story of the day for Corey Price. Corey's story was multi-kill cap-outs between this map, Harrington, and Anzio. He did it a lot. 23 for him there, and then 21 for Jesse. Mafia pulls it out in the end by 4 fucking points. What a game. What a start to the series. You'd think, well, that game was close, but there's no way we're going to have another close game, right? Well, bollocks. Over wins this game by 4 points. 365 to 361. They steal Mafia's map pick. So, I mean, this series has become just such a fucking blur to me because so much happened. All right. First half of Harrington, 178 to 150. Very, very close. Very, very close between two good teams on a map like Harrington. You can see this shit happen. It's Allied-sided. The Allies will probably win. But, man, it can be so close like this, just back and forth. Kill differential was 5. Like, what the fuck am I looking at right here? So, overtakes this map. We'll do the Mafia boys first. 42 kills on Sick with the bar. Just a legendary Ringer performance here in a playoff series, no less. We've seen some pretty sweet Ringer performances over the years. Over the year, like it's been fucking 2 years, over the 5 seasons, whatever. This has got to be up there with some of the best, being a playoff series and all. 42 for him, 36 for Pibian on the sniper. A great, great Allied side sniper there. 32 for Sean on the Grand. Corey with 28 going long. We talked about it leading into the game. We talked about it during the game. Corey always has impact on this map going long. He will have impact. He might go the first 10 minutes with no impact. That just means you're getting double the impact for the last 10 minutes. Watch out. Just constantly finding multiple kills at a time, locking down Sandbag, locking down Plateau. Just so good at that route. And then we had 21 on Tony and 17 on Jesse. On the overside, 33 for Saka. Again, leading the way there with the car. 30 for Nick. 30 and 28 Axis side Harrington is very impressive. Anyone who snipes can tell you. It's not easy to even go positive on Axis side Harrington sniping, let alone get 30 kills, let alone do both at the same time. Just vintage Nick Patton there. Till also had 30. I believe that he switched classes this time, and they were using him to go long, which was a good idea in my opinion, because that's something that he's done for a long time, is very good at soloing long, at just shitting on your spawn, catching you off guard, like, oh, like maybe he went through mid, so we took long, and it turns out, no, he was behind you the whole time, and just when you thought you could get mid, Till is there to take you out. Really, really good half there. Mata with 29 kills on the STG. I kept seeing him one STG, people, like this was fucking Counter-Strike. It was crazy. Counter-Strike. Just really crazy shit. And then Devin, 29, and Caffrey with 20. You know what to expect when your cars are Devin and Saka. They're going to be going off on streaks all over the goddamn place. This was no different. And then, second half of Harrington, I can't believe my voice. This is the other problem. My voice is already fucking giving out on me here. Second half, it was 132 to 100 to make that a 4-point win for Over. They did win the kill battle here by a little bit more than any other half. On the Mafia side, 39 for Jesse. He had a couple of really, really strong car halves in this game, in this series, in particular. On Anzio, especially, it was like he just almost put Mafia on his fucking back and took them to the promised land in those last like 8 to 10 minutes of the second half of that game. Just really, really, really impressive stuff. And then he had 27 apiece for the other two rifles here, Sean and Corey. Obviously a very strong rifle team right there. You expect that they're going to put up big numbers. They did not disappoint. And then 25 for Sick on the STG, and 23 for Pibian on the Sniper, 13 for Tony on the Unter, and then on the Over side of things, another impressive Allied side sniper half, Nick Patton, had to be the MVP of this map in particular, 40 and 23 on Allies, 33 for Caffrey on one bar, 31 for both Saka and James, 29 for Devin, and 20 for Mata. This was another one where it was just like, really exemplary play on both sides of the game here. When teams were backed up to their last flag, you never really saw like a missed assignment, which is very common on Harrington to see a missed assignment lead to a cap out. One guy thinks like, maybe I'm going to go out this side of spawn, even though they have it locked down with like 2 or 3 guys. You want to go make the hero play. We've all done it. You think you can maybe just go hit the couple shots, take the flag back, take the pressure off your team. You didn't see that at all here. Like, everybody was making really good decisions, man. It was great team play across the board. And it was chaotic as all fuck, because that's Harrington, man. The teams that can thrive in the chaos are the teams that can prevail on Harrington. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of split-second decision-making and long-range duels and trying to come up with solutions to fucking endless problems and doing it in an instant. Both these teams were able to do it, but Over was able to do it 4 points better to even the series. And as I said earlier, it was a tied score overall after 2 maps. I've never seen that before. You might see it be 1-1 in the series, but like this map was a fucking blowout and this map was close, or both maps were different kind of blowouts. No, this was 4 points, 1-1. Crazy shit. Very, very interesting stuff. Like, again, anybody who hasn't already watched that whole series, for any reason, should go do it. Like, whether you want to go see what the teams were doing that was successful, or what one player was doing that was successful, or what they were doing wrong, looking for little secrets into how to potentially win these maps, or just for the sake of entertainment, go watch this shit, man. It's very, very crazy. I can't do an ample job of selling to you just how insane a series this was. Even the last map, like, you see the score there, 72 points. That sounds like a blowout because the other 2 games were 4 points. That's not even a cap and a half. It's not even a cap and a half. Like, for all intents and purposes, call it a cap because of the hold points that come the rest of the time, right? This was basically a 1-cap game. And Grey Hair Mafia came very close to capping out a few times. So this could have very easily been another single-digit game in either direction. But right off the bat here, 175 to 124 first half. Mafia starting on Allies, Over on Axis. Over actually win the kill battle, which I think, again, some of that came down to doing a good job of defending a last flag. But 51-point lead, right? After your Allied side of Anzio, like, it's one of those things, it feels like a lot, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like enough. You want to be able to rack up probably at least one more cap there. And obviously, if they had, they still would have lost. I mean, I guess it depends, because there's going to be tick points on the way to a cap. But with the way this series was going, to me, it felt like a 51-point lead was insurmountable, right? It just felt like a team having a lead by more than a single-digit point total means they're going to win overall. It just felt like that. On the Mafia side, 30 kills for Sean with that Garand going bridge. He's just such a stud. 24 for Jesse. Those guys all season long have been just as good a rifle duo as you can ask for in the game. Just rock solid in all facets of the game for a rifle. 22 for Corey on the third. This is actually crazy. It went 30, but then 24, 22, 20, 18, 16, just 2, 2, 2, 2. Very evenly distributed once again. 20 for Tony on the bar, 18 for Pibian on the sniper rifle, 16 for William on the other bar. And then on the overside, Saka leading by example here, and he did it by even more so on Allied side, I can assure you. 31 on the car once again. He had to have averaged 30 to 35 kills a half throughout the series. Just so good. Sorry, excuse me. And then you also had Patton, 24 and 15, just a great sniper half there on Axis side. James started off this half, I think it was like 7-0 or 9-0 or 10-0, just making things difficult for Mafia all over the place. Mafia was able to recover from it at this point, but it looked like they were never, ever going to get street. I know off the first initial, I think he got like 3 or 4 kills in the street. Then he came out Ivy, got another 2 kills there. And then I think he got another 2 kills down rope or in like barrel area, maybe in pizza, I forget exactly. But really, for heavies that want to understand how to play the street heavy role in particular, you should watch that. Because that's what you really need to do. It might not be the most fun, it might not be the most exciting thing to do, but that's how you do it. And someone needs to do that on this map because street is fucking paramount. Then you had 23 kills on Devin and 19 apiece for Caffrey and Mata. Again, a 51-point lead at the half for Gray Hair Mafia. Second half, though, over. Storms back and win this half by 123. Kill totals, they won by 28. Man, my throat is just fucked, guys. Alright, so, getting into it. Final half of this series for Mafia. As I said earlier, Jesse just went off, man. It was like he was just getting 3 car kills a life for these last 8 to 10 minutes of the half. Trying everything possible to get Mafia back into this game. And he almost did. Corey with 24 on the Stas. Sean with 22. Having probably, I'd say, the toughest assignment of the bunch. Having to go Plaza with the car against Nick, who's very tough to pin down in Plaza. He's very shifty. He's not ever worried about potentially pushing up through Main, pushing up through Ivy, going over to Bridge. You might be looking for him in Plaza, and he's not even there. The guy is slippery as fuck, and he's good at doing all of it. Never worried about it. I'm just going to take a push-up main ramp. They can look for me in church all they want. I'm not fucking there anymore. A very tough assignment that Sean did a good job with. Sick with 20 on the STG. And then 16 for Pibian on the Sniper and 14 for Tony on the Unter. And then on the other side of things for over 33 kills for James there. Once again, doing exactly as I said before. Just locking down street, locking down meat, locking down main ramp, making it messy, making it tough, and being frustrating as all hell. Really, like, when you got somebody who can do that in street on Anzio, it's tough to lose. Because there's so much flows through street and meat and main, that whole area, Ivy, the sewers, leads everywhere. That spot on that map is so important, and having a guy go 33 and 20 in there, it's going to be tough to beat that. Devin, 31 and 18. Again, just multi-kill after multi-kill, flick shot after flick shot. Same for Saka, 30 and 26. He had 2 different movie clips from the loft. One was off an initial. He got up, crouched in the middle window of loft, 3 kills, boom. And then another one that I actually caught from the POV, a 4K up in loft, just like all flick headshots. It looked bonkers. That's the kind of mutiny clip right there where he's just standing in loft and taking out the whole bridge team +1 with headshots. Crazy. Looked like an old Animal movie or Jaunty or Jizz or any of those guys. Just standing in loft, strafing perfectly, and flicking heads off. And then 25 for Caffrey on the other bar, 19 for Nick, and 18 for Mata. It looked like Mafia certainly had the chance to come back in this game. They got control of both double caps at one point with probably like 11 or 12 minutes left, but were not able to get that full cap to get started. They needed 2 of them when all was said and done. I guess it depended when they got the first one. They could have got 1, and if there was enough time left, they could have tried to just hold 1 double cap in street. They didn't need to get 2 caps. But once the time got down more and more, they were going to need to get 2 caps. And Over just did such a good job of locking down the areas of the map that they need to lock down. They weren't overly concerned with like we have to get double caps and cap out. They knew the opportunities would come to get another double cap. They focused on getting Plaza. Its allied side, they did a good job of that, and then using that map control to work into street, work out through the sewers, work out through meat, take bridge from force, both pincering it from behind and going through Z and Loft on the other side. Or in some cases, Sokka just went and killed the whole bridge team, as I just said. So, really, really good stuff there from Over. Really, really good stuff from Gray Hair Mafia. This is just such a pleasure to cast for me. I had so much fun doing this game. It is, in my humble opinion, as just the biggest nerd in DoD history who's watched the most DoD of anyone. I think this is the best of 3 I've ever seen. Certainly, best of 3s were not a thing in DoD prior to, this stage of it, I guess. There was winner bracket and lower bracket, so you could have games where it was 2 games if the upper bracket team lost in the first final. But not a lot of best of 3s going back. However, there's been a lot of them in KTP, and I've casted the majority of them, and none of them were as fun, as close, as fucking tense, as unclear who the winner was going to be for as much of this best of 3 series. It was totally up in the air from start to finish. Really big round of applause to both teams. This is endless rewatch potential for this best of 3 for anybody who likes DoD at all. Go watch it. Don't take my word for it. Go watch it. It's so fun. It's so back and forth. Preferably go erase the last 20 minutes of recap from your memory and go watch it fresh. Don't listen to me describe it, because I forget half the shit by the time it's a week later. Go watch it. You get a little bit of everything in this game. You even get some shit talking going on between the maps and before the first map. It really is like just perfect encapsulation of all that DoD brings to the table from a competitive standpoint. And I don't take lightly saying something is the best in DoD history. I don't. There's a lot of DoD history. When it comes to best of 3s, this is the best one. Plain and simple. There's some other really good ones, but none have ever been so wire to wire, just insanity. Over moves on. They're facing Bandits in one half of the semifinals. In the other half, where are we here? So we had... Nope, that's not it. We had us versus Clinic. We played this Saturday night. Blender did the cast. I can only really speak to my POV of a lot of stuff, but what we had here... Railroad 2 was map 1, Harrington was map 2, we picked Railroad 2, Clinic picked Harrington. In the first map, 255 to 157 on our map pick of Railroad 2. This game, it started off, we got, I think, an early cap out in the first half on our Axis side, and then Clinic stormed back immediately. They got mid, they held mid for a lot of the next, probably 16, 17 minutes. Came close to capping out a few times. They were really just up our ass. But once we did manage to break through, we were able to get another cap with 10 seconds left, I want to say. We got mid back. We got 5 or 6 kills, and then we're able to get the cap with the prone dive out of ticket. So that made it, well, let's just go into the fucking actual screenshots and not speculate, right? 165 to 74 it was after first half. So on the Clinic side, 32 for Insom. Man, Insom played out of his goddamn mind in this series. I can just from the kills that he got on me and the kills that I saw him get on everyone else in their demos, I mean, he was so on. Same with Carpenter, who had 30 kills there on the sniper rifle. Carp always is just one of the toughest snipers to play against. He will make you question what you're doing at all times. Should I even be going loft anymore? Every time I peek loft, he's taking my head off in an instant. Just, again, another vintage game from Carp there. 21 for Tom, 19 for Vic, 17 for Sam, and 16 for Scott. Tom and Vic actually did a really good job, just controlling apartments. It felt like we only had apartments for, a third of this half, which is tough to play around, right? Again, another thing where it's that is the key portion of the map. They did a really good job of holding on to it, and that's why we didn't have mid for a good chunk of this half. On the Thunder side, Dorito with 36 kills, carring apartments, 35 for Toxinator, carring long, 32 for J-Rod, Stossing 4-way, 29 apiece for me on the sniper and Jules STGing in apartments, and then 20 for Ryan Emo going train. Was a 91-point lead, basically like 2 caps here after the first half. Into the second half, we end up winning this half by 7. I don't think we capped out. They definitely capped out. But I don't think that we ever managed to... Did we manage to break through for a full cap? Now I fucking forget. I don't think so. I want to say most of those points came from having mid and like one of their other flags. But Clinic 100% capped out. So to start off this half, they did a good job of just preventing us from getting on mid, kind of like lulling us into thinking we could get mid and then breaking it perfectly. They also did a really good job of getting into apartments one way or another. Like, you know, even regardless, like our bars have good scores, but Clinic had apps more in this half than we managed to get apps on our Axis half, I'd say. Just, again, from where I was dying from and how often and everything like that. Oh my god, my throat is so bad. So, I think it was like 7 or 8 minutes in, they managed to get... So this was just a great, great job here. I think it was both Sam and Scott pushed through train together. They caught us off guard because I think Tox had rotated over to mid to break mid, so they got out perfectly in a timing. They took both me and Brian out. Jared was unable to break mid. I don't know, actually I think he almost broke mid, and then they got it, and Ryan got like a triple nade right after the cap went off, and they had our 2. We defended the 1, and then eventually, like, they killed another wave between the 2, Scott and Sam over at the 2, killed another wave at our 1, and then by the time we respawned, I think they, like, got to the flag right before we were about to get out of the sprites. It was just perfect team play by Clinic, a really well-timed push on the train side of things, a double push. They did a great job on the train side all around, really. Once they were sending 2 guys there quite a bit for a good chunk of that half, and it was really tough to deal with that new box over at the Allied second flag. You got to hit some tough shots or throw some tough grenades to get guys out of there, and you have to really clear both sides, right? It was 90 to 83, a 7-point win for us this half. 175 to 148 were the kills. Insom again, top frags here with 32. Like I said, he just played so well, man. The shots he was hitting were out of this world. Numerous movie clips across this series. Really, they were hitting some nutty shots all around. Same with Carpenter once again. We all know how I feel about Carpenter. He just, I swear to God, it's like, he's a sniper, man. If you're a sniper, this is the guy you're going to like to watch as a sniper. He's doing his job, and he's doing it in exciting ways, and he's getting movie clips along the way, and he's hitting crazy shots. He's walling people. He's doing everything a sniper's got to do, and he's doing it in very fun and interesting ways. I love it. He had 27, Vic with 25. I feel like he killed me from apartments like 10 to 15 times. It just felt like I kept dying to Vic in apartments with sniper rifles, too. I swear to God, I think Vic had like a 10 to 12 kill streak with a sniper at one point. Like, he killed me from loft, and then he killed me from balcony, and then he killed me from lower, and then he killed me on white steps. He's just everywhere. I couldn't, but I did hit a really funky shot on him. That we were talking about in the Twitch chat afterwards. It was just the most random shit ever. I think I showed it on stream whenever the last time I casted was. The Spicy / Late Arrivals / Goose Patrol games. Showed it at the start of that stream if you haven't seen it. Very random, running, like I was literally Lottie dying my way out of sandbag spawn, and Vic was in hole, and I didn't even aim. I didn't attempt to stop. He just scared the shit out of me. Which caused me to click my mouse, and DOD rewarded me with a random kill. Gotta love DOD sometimes. 23 kills for Scott with the car, going both 4-way and train. 21 for Tom and 20 for Sam. And then on our side of things, Jules had 41 on the bar. Omenair Ryan had 35 on the bar. I had 33 on the sniper. J-Rod had 23, Garanding long. Tox had 22, Garanding train, and Dorito had 21, Garanding ticket. So we took our map pick, as I said, by 98 points there. That game was very stressful at different times, too, because they had a lot of control. Especially on their allied side, they controlled the entire map for a big chunk of it. If we hadn't got the cap outs that we did at the bookending that half, it would have been a very, very different game. We were lucky to break through for those full caps because we have troubles getting full caps a lot of the time. If we hadn't, if we had the same problems there where we couldn't just quite break through, then you're looking at this game being more like a 10-point game, right? And then things look a lot different with how everything plays out, what you're able to get away with from a team standpoint on each side, able to sit back a little bit more. Very much closer than that score says. To me, that game felt like we won by less than a cap. It was just a lot of back and forth, and Clinic did a really, really good job of establishing control in apartments, establishing control on the train side of things, and not letting mid just be a free cap ever. We always paid the price in mid. If we got on that cap, we were losing at least one guy. It was a lot of back and forth gameplay there on Railroad 2. Then it went to Harrington. We won this game 522-96. This one wasn't as close. We had a really good Allied side, I think, if I recall correctly. That's Axis. This is Allied side. Yeah, so Allied side, we were able to get a bunch of cap outs at the end of it. Axis side, when you look at Axis side of Harrington, certainly this is also a really good Axis side of Harrington. 204-51 first half. Kills were 207-137, which is crazy, the kill distribution when you look at it on our side of things with 24, 32, 36, 37, 39, 39. Just a real, you don't see that happen that often. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that until I just saw that there was 200 kills there. I've talked about it before. It's like kind of like the max kills you can manage to get, right? It's like right around that 200 mark. So everybody was fragging hard in this game. On the Clinic side, though, 27 for Vic with the bar. Always tough on this map, man. Both Vic and Tom. The way that they play together, I always love to watch. They are, even though Tom is, again, not a heavy, this is the class that he has kind of just been stuck playing since KTP started. He is a sniper, he is a rifle. The fact that he's playing against Jules and Ryan Emo and doing anything as a heavy is impressive to me. It just really, I have to heavy every once in a while, and I'm happy if I get like 15 kills. Just go watch the Armory game we played against Chill last season, where Milo and Chi are just shredding my butthole for 40 minutes. Like, it's not easy to just go start heavying when you're not a heavy in this game. It's, I would say, the toughest class for a myriad of reasons, and he's done a very impressive job having to do that across 5 seasons of DoD. Carp had 23, Scott with 21, Scott with 22, Insom with 21, and Candy Sam with 20. And then for Thunder, so it was 39 for me, 39 for Brian. We were both going mid. And then 36 for J-Rod going long with the Stas. 37 for Ryan Emo going along with an Unter, 36 for J-Rod going along with a Stas, 32 for Tox carring Mountain, and 24 for Jules STGing Mountain. And that was first half, and then second half on our Allied side, we were able to break our cap curse and actually finally figure out how to cap out on a map. Which, if you've watched us this season, it's just one of those things, we just have had that monkey on our back. We can get map control, we can push you back to your last flag, but we always fall apart. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come, that we're going to be able to finish off our cap outs a little more often here. But 318-45, the kills, not relevant because Clinic are missing somebody out of that end round screenshot there. But for Clinic, 35 on car, 35 and 32 snipe and Axis side at Harrington. I already talked about Axis side Harrington sniper. That is impressive. 30 for Insom. Again, both those guys were especially sharp. They were not missing shots. It certainly felt to me. 24 for Vic, 22 for Scott, and 20 for Sam. And then on the Thunder side of things, Toxinator with 41, Garanding middle. I had 36 sniping, and then Ryan Emo, Jules, and Dorito all had 31, 2 heavies, and another mid-rifle, and then J-Rod, 26 kills, Garanding along by himself, and that was Thunder, 2-0, Railroad 2 at Harrington. Good game to Clinic. Everyone knows how much I love Clinic. They're like my favorite team in the league, right? Them and Romario, I certainly talk about more than anybody else. And it's just one of those things. Like I wish Clinic could still be playing. I wish we could have won a game against somebody else and Clinic could still be playing. Have it both ways here because I really do love those guys. They are all awesome fucking players and awesome dudes. It sucks that they're out now. Fucking playoffs. That's the downside of it. Is that teams you like end up eliminated until there's 2 teams left. But Clinic will be fine. This team is going to stay together forever. That's one of the main things I love about Clinic. They are a team to its core. They are very much like Thunder is, where it's a team of friends that just are going to continue to play together regardless of what's going on. Whether they're playing much DoD or not, whether they're playing Counter-Strike or something else, like they are a team that are just playing together because that's who their friends are. And having done so for so long together, it shows in their ability to play as a team. They're always fun to watch. They're all crazy fucking fraggers, man. Just like watching their aim and reaction time and strafes and recoil control and all that. Like they're just gamers to a T, fraggers, fucking, just aim gods. And, they will be back. I guarantee it. When season 6 does or doesn't or whatever. I have no idea what the plan is, but I assume there's going to be a season 6, and that Clinic will be there and still be my favorite team. So, love those guys. That does it for the recap. This took me an hour and a half to do already. There's absolutely no way that I can go predict a full round of playoffs in silver of best of 3s and the semifinals in gold best of 3s. So, we're going to have to do a playoff special that I will do tomorrow once I have sufficiently healed my ailing throat. As you can hear, I'm just fucked right now. I don't understand why. Maybe it's just the residual from Sunday doing 6 maps, including 3 of the craziest maps I've ever casted. I don't know what the situation is, but I'm a little fucked right now. Maybe it's my air conditioner being on. Fuck if I know. Anyways, we're going to call this just the recap episode, right? Week 9 recap. And then we're going to do playoff special episode tomorrow morning. I don't know how many people stayed this long in the video, so it's very possible that people won't know that I'm only doing this portion here. I wasn't planning on it when I started this, but I like to make sure that I talk about everybody a good amount at least, and sometimes that takes a little bit of extra time. Go watch the Lost episode. If you want to see, I don't mean the show Lost, but you should go watch Lost too. Don't believe what people have said about the ending sucked and all that. I'm telling you, they just weren't paying attention, or they didn't even watch it, and they just heard from somebody else that the ending sucked, and they just parroted that. I assure you, go watch Lost. But also, watch the Dodcast Lost episode that I uploaded yesterday to whet everyone's appetite while I was not yet finished this. Because you'll see what it used to be like. It was 30 minutes flat. And that was the game plan from day one, was that the Dodcast, 30 minutes. No more, no less. Can you imagine? I mean, just go watch that shit and see, how the fuck did I do this in 30 minutes? I guess because at that point there was 3 matches in each division, right? So there's only 3 matches, 6 total. And then there was no recap to do yet. So this is just purely predictions and kind of like going over Harrington. I think I even did a separate video where I was going over Harrington as a map. I might have done it with Caleb, I think, at some point, but I don't know if that's uploaded anywhere. I personally could not find it. Going through like my backlog, I have a bunch of casts that aren't uploaded, so if anybody's looking for a cast that I did from, season 1, week 3 onwards, and you can't find it on YouTube, just let me know. I have them all saved. At some point, I need to delete them, because that's a 5 terabyte hard drive that's like really close to filled up. But I will assure you that at least up until season 6, I will hang on to all those raw casts. So if there's anything you're looking for, just let me know. We'll be back tomorrow to do the playoff prediction special. I don't have a more clever name for it right now because I just decided this in the last half an hour. So my shirt is still on backwards, but I kind of like how it looks. It's like if you hadn't known my shirt was on backwards, you might have not thought it was a shirt being on backwards. So, anyways, everybody have a good rest of your night. Sorry this is only a half an episode technically, but you'll get the rest of it tomorrow, all right? All right, you vultures. God. Stop yelling at me, please. It hurts. Love you guys. KTP. Be back tomorrow for the rest of this shit. We're going to predict everything. We're going to do it in depth. Maybe I'll write a script. I'm probably not going to, though, because I like to just do it from the hip. All right. Everybody, sleep well. Good night. KTP. Peace.